Welcome back, guys, to another Clash Royale video, and today I'm going to be doing a comparison of the HOG ZAP combo versus the HOG freeze combo. I get a lot of comments of which is better, so that's why I wanted to do today's video, and I will have two replays to show you guys. The first replay will be a HOG ZAP combo, and the second replay obviously will be a HOG freeze combo, and in these battles I'll be talking about some pros and cons towards each spell, and I will begin by saying my personal preference is the HOG ZAP combo. I feel like it fits the overall strategy of a HOG cycle deck a little bit better just because of the low elixir cost. So that is the first benefit of the ZAP spell. Obviously the 2 elixir cost versus the 4 elixir cost makes a bit of a difference. So for the same 8 elixir investment of a HOG freeze push, you can use a HOG Rider, Spear Goblins, and a ZAP spell, and that does make a little bit of a difference because, for example, and you'll see this later on in this battle here, if somebody uses a minion horde to defend against your HOG Rider push, you can use the ZAP spell to stun that minion horde, stun the tower, and also weaken the minion horde, allowing the Spear Goblins to finish them off, saving your HOG Rider, and overall just getting more damage done to the tower. Whereas with the free spell, you have a full health minion horde to worry about coming back at you, and you've also spent the same amount of elixir. So that's kind of a pro of the ZAP spell there. Now obviously the ZAP spell does do damage, so it doubles as a great counter against the minion horde, skeleton army, and goblins and stuff like that. So that's another benefit of the ZAP spell. And finally, one of the greatest things with the ZAP spell is its ability to reset the targeting on your opponent's troops or towers. So for example, if somebody uses a Royal Giant and you drop down your cannon, but the Royal Giant somehow manages to target your tower, you can use that ZAP spell to force the Royal Giant to retarget back to your cannon. Or if somebody uses a mini P.E.K.K.A. to defend against your HOG Rider, you can go in with a HOG Rider Goblin push, and right when the mini P.E.K.K.A. is about to attack your HOG Rider, use that ZAP spell, and that'll actually force the mini P.E.K.K.A. to retarget back to your goblins, allowing your HOG Rider to get a couple more hits in. Now you can actually do both of those things with the free spell as well. It just costs a little bit more elixir and can be a little bit harder to pull off. Now the other great thing with the ZAP spell, for that same 8 elixir cost, you can actually do a pig push technique, whereas if you're using a free spell, it'll cost you 10 elixir at least to do a pig push technique. Now with that being said, if somebody is using a defense in their deck, like a cannon or an inferno tower, you have to rely on that pig push technique, because with the HOG Rider and the ZAP spell alone, you won't be able to get past that defense, whereas with a HOG freeze combo, a lot of times you can get past that defense. Now let's take a look at the next replay here using the HOG freeze combo. So here we are, guys, with the next replay. Now I am facing a level 10 here who is using the P.E.K.K.A. double print strategy. So this is going to be a pretty good example of how strong the free spell can be if used properly. Now obviously free spell versus ZAP spell, the free spell costs 2 more elixir, but it does last a lot longer than a ZAP spell, and because of that, it has some pretty strong strengths to it. Now obviously the first strength is on offensive pushes with the HOG Rider. If your opponent is using defenses, for example, with the help of your free spell, those HOG Riders can usually push past those defenses and then go on to damage the tower. And also if somebody is using barbarians, for example, to counter your HOG Rider push, you can actually use that free spell and allow your HOG Rider to get 3, 4, or even 5 hits off on that tower, whereas with the ZAP spell, your HOG Rider might only get 1 or 2 hits off if you're lucky. Now with that being said, because you've now spent more elixir on a push with the HOG freeze combo than you did with the HOG ZAP combo, you do have to worry about a counter push coming back at you, because not only did you not damage your opponent's defending troops, you also spent more elixir. So like I said, the counter pushes are a very real thing with the free spell, so you have to kind of change up your strategy a little bit when using the free spell. One thing I try and do is set up stronger pushes. With the ZAP spell, my main intention is to go in quickly with a HOG Rider, some goblins, and then use the ZAP spell to get some quick damage done to a tower, and then pull back and defend. Whereas with a HOG freeze combo, what I try and do is set up a stronger push, maybe with a musketeer or some barbarians, or some more supporting troops, so that when your opponent's defending troops are frozen, your troops are actually killing them, so you don't have to worry about that counter push coming back at you. Now one of the other great things with the free spell is it can be incredibly strong on defense and can shut down some pretty strong pushes. A lot of people rely on having a certain setup of troops, having their AoE damage troops in the back but are fairly weak, and having a strong tank up front. With the help of a free spell, you can actually freeze all of that and then go in the back and take out those troops. And you'll also see me using this battle a couple times, I think, the free spell on defense to shut down a Prince push, for example. Whereas if I had the ZAP spell, I would have actually taken damage to my tower. Now also, one of the great things with the free spell is if you're using like a minion horde or something like that, and they use a ZAP spell on your minion horde, you can actually catch them off guard sometimes, and when your minion horde goes back to their tower, they might be expecting that tower to one-shot all of your minions, but I've actually used it where I drop a free spell on a tower with 1 health minions and had those minions, actually take out a tower from full health because my opponent was not expecting that free spell. So that's the other great thing with that free spell. Now one of the other great things with the free spell versus the ZAP spell, and you'll actually see that in this battle here, is in overtime where you don't have to worry about a counter push. You can actually go all in on an offense, drop all of your troops, drop a free spell, and actually overpower your opponent, take out that tower, and you don't have to worry about the counter push, obviously, because you are in overtime, and once you take that tower over, you win the game. So that's another great thing with the free spell. Now I'm going to summarize here some of the pros of the ZAP spell. Obviously the low 2 electric cost, the fact that it does damage, it can be used to counter troops like the minion horde and goblins and stuff like that, and also it can be used as a cheap way to force troops to retarget. Now obviously some of the cons are its low stun duration, so you can't really rely on it to get past a layer of defenses. With the free spell, it does have a long duration, so that is the biggest pro, and can be used on defense as well as offense, and also in overtime it's a great clutch winner, as you'll see right here. And obviously some of the cons of the free spell: higher electric cost and bigger counter pushes to worry about. So anyways guys, that's going to do it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope it helped you with some information. If it did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.